Welcome to another episode of Discover with SARINE. Today I'm heading out of downtown Summit for a very special episode. Come and join me as we go deep into the heart of New York City Flatiron District and spend an afternoon with a master teacher and painter. Philip Sherrod is a Manhattan-based artist responsible for starting the street painters movement. His work have been shown at some of the world's most prestigious museums. He teaches at numerous art institutions in the metropolitan area, and I have attended his classes for more than 10 years. As an artist, Philip is very protective of his workplace, yet he was kind enough to invite me. I came, along with a camera, into his studio to show his works and to discuss his life, his passions, and his muse. Open sesame? Hi, Philip. How are you doing?
Welcome.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you very much for inviting me over. Philip, it's overwhelming. I have never seen so many pieces in one place. How long have you been here?
Well, my story is a long story. I came to New York in 1959 and lived in Brooklyn for about a year and a half, painted down there on the street, and the botanical gardens as well as pigeons on the street corner near Prospect Park. And through time, the work has come up to a certain number.
So could you approximately give me an estimate? How many paintings do you have here?
I think there's somewhere in the range of about 5,000, which possibly is as many as maybe any artist has ever done in any century. But when I was a kid, I had this idea that I would compete with Detroit cars and Ford, and I'd produce an assembly line of quality and passion, and that's what I have done, okay?
How young were you when you knew that you wanted to be an artist?
When I was 3 years old, in the Protestant Methodist Church, they used to stick a pencil in my hand to keep me quiet. Draw, they said, so I did. And I drew everything that moved, and my cousin, Dale Sherrod, said to me one day, he said, let's go to the Oklahoma City Art Center and see an exhibit. And I said, no, I'd rather go play either golf, football, let's go fishing. He said, no, he said, let's go and just see. I want you to see art. And I was about 20 years old. So we went to the exhibition, and I saw a little Rembrandt, about this high. And it was a horrible piece, but it was better than anything else in the exhibit. And it was of a rabbi. And I said, well, that's a horrible painting, but I can do that. He said, you can't do something you haven't ever done. And I said, well, either karmically in the past life I have done this, but I will do it differently. And I used to sit on the stool as a kid with serious concerns and look straight across at Rembrandt, and he would look back at me. So I bonded on his humanitarian, the highlight in the eyes, the tenderness, the privacy. So I guess that's where I first saw my paintings. And then it was triggered off by seeing the Rembrandt later. I said, oh, there's the man. This landscape is the Lower East Side, and this is in New York City, down near Orchard Street, Allen Street. And I went to the street to get the sky. I'm still painting still life, in effect. Buildings are still life. Everything that moves slower than I is still life. Buildings don't move. I can move quicker in time. Here's a piece down on off of 14th Street, 2nd Avenue. The cityscapes were aggressive, immediate, and moving. New York City has greater speed in time of molecular changes. In other words, images, psychological, mental, physical, you name it, speed.
Because of that speed, do you have to paint faster in the street than if you were in the studio?
Well, let me say this. I paint fast no matter where. Fast is not physical. I can do this very slow with a brush, and I can get more speed than most people if I wish. A master can control the media and get greater dimensions of thought, feeling, dominion, power, Machiavellian territorial rights. I'm saying that speed is not measured just only physically. Speed is a state of mind. So this idea is that I can paint slower, faster, but I try to capture what is there. I am actually after nature, after life. The dying artist after life.
In the cityscape, what would be then the message there? Or is there a message? Should we look for one?
Well, I think message is, again, the moral of the story concept. I think that art, great art, transcends just the triteness of a particular message. I think there are messages in all images. I would say my paintings are really cryptically fragmentations, metaphors. Each city corner has a personality. It's like I'm painting portraits. Every time I paint the human dilemma or the human condition, I am painting in particular specifically a person. Every truck has a color, they have a form, they have dents, they are personalities. So if you're really visual as I am, I'm an extremely acutely sensitive person in that every little trimmer I pick up. Sometimes I selectively don't use it because it doesn't give me greater power or color, a red, a yellow. But everybody that does know, as this guy that came to the house, what was his name, Eric? He knew downtown off of Sheridan Square. Everybody will see one or two places they have seen in the city when they walk through my place. Going up here, I want to go up into here. Here's a Prix de Roma piece which has to do with one of the ports that you enter up on Trastevere, up into the old Trastevere, up near the Academy. It was about a block and a half, 2 blocks down. It is an arrangement called a Costruzione. I did 100 Costruzioni, and what are they? Found objects of the street. In my Prix de Roma effort, I said I will paint Rome as it is, which I did. I painted the tourist landmarks of the buildings, the Vatican, this and that. I painted all of the objects that are, but I said I will do you one better. I will give you the deterioration of Rome by the progress of dust unto dust. A quicker, a faster progression of disintegration, because nothing lasts forever. So they like that. I did it, and I did 100. I did 99 paintings physically, and I did 100 Costruzioni, and like this has 1, 2, 3 painted panels on masonite. I used to walk through Rome and pick up. The Italians walk over garbage. They walk over objects.
So all these objects were picked up.
Were picked up along the street.
Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't that Coke?
Yes, yes. Smashed by some little Fiat. Yes. Here's old woman, young girl with the yellow pox. This represents, in effect, metaphorically, even AIDS. The Black Death, it is the plague. The plague of what? The plague of yellow, which makes me happy in the cold months of the winter. The pieces up here, I might tell you, up above us are, again, Costruzioni from Rome. I've got everything from the Blind Roman, which is here, self-portrait with number 6. And if you come this way, turn around, and Roma with it's 2 flowers and combs. It's an ode de flora combs. And then Coca-Cola can.
Again, Coca-Cola.
Yeah, well, Coca-Cola and McDonald's were striking it rich. Yeah.
There.
Now here's a piece called Ode de Napoli, which has been shown. This is me as the Pope, a nun, and a holy lizard with the Italian flag in the mouth. And those are all self-portraits, and this has to do with the beauty of Naples, the cuisine, the freedom, and these are halos, which come from an original.
From a cuisiner.
Yeah, this is the Rome's poison apples. Now back here I have an oil can, olio. Yes, this is right across from the Pantheon, and here is the restaurant. This is called Lei is an Open Book. And this is again back to the poetry, literal.
What are the beautiful paintings that you did in Rome?
Well, they're hidden over there, stacked up. You can't see them, but I will talk about Enrica up here from Rome. She was a Leo in that spotted leopard outfit with a cigarette where her finger becomes a matchstick. But I want to also go back to Oklahoma, and where I was born in 35. I did, because of the Bible Belt and the fanaticism of religiosity, I did religious pieces like this is the Antichrist eats the pork's foot, which is a symbolic Western culture barbaric bloodbath of bones that represents actually where we went. This was done in objection to the Vietnam War in 67. I painted it, and then in 69 I repainted it.
So it's actually your Guernica.
It's my Guernica, in a sense, yeah. It represents my pacifist objections on war. And it has to do with barbaric, I would call it almost a state of where might makes right, using the Antichrist as destruction. It is destruction by Western culture of its own diminished returns. And now that we've come into where we are with Iraq and bin Laden and Afghanistan, it's been quite, it was predictably SHER.
Is painting spontaneous for you, or do you find it really hard work?
Well, through the years, I have to talk about this, I guess, in that when I was a kid, I was very delicate, thin paint. To match the energy of the world, it thickened up in time. I got what some will say sloppy, but I didn't get sloppy, is that I was looking for the movement of life itself, for the movement of a streetcar, the movement of a person. So my paint got what I call alla prima, bas relief, textural, and I do love paint. I love to squeeze around. I'm a sculptor by heart, maybe. I'm very touch oriented, and painting is touch, trying to match the world, touch the world, toy with the world, play with the world. But in the building of forms, to me, I hate anything skinny. But I worked up from still lifes that were very delicate and tender, and these are all gone, or they've been lost, or I sold them, or whatever. I was working with introvert privacy, and how can you make the world private? That's what I did with thick paint. I began to realize that thick paint offered me a signature of rhythm that was organically more like the world. I could get greater intensity of passages. And when I came to New York City and went to the Met in about 1959 into 60, I saw Courbet. He's a master of the palette knife, and one day I will become the master of the palette knife. And I have taught that to my students and the Art Students League, the National Academy, and out in New Jersey. Because it's more identifiable the way we are today. We're no longer introverts. We can't be if we're to deal with the world. And that's what happened. This stuff got obsessively rhythmical. What is the function of an artist? And I think my position with society is one to denounce oppression. I think my work speaks for the freedom of the eye, where you might control the people, but you cannot control their eyes. Actually, I'm a realist, expressionist, fragmentist. I'm all of these things. So I have objected for 50 years, being that I've painted for 48 now. I have objected politically, poetically, that the categorical comprehensions of the past that they keep trying to hold modern art to now, those of whom can still paint or have an interest in painting, and don't just do, like in Central Park, a couple of draperies dropped. But this idea is, yes, the painting is alla prima, bas relief, it's thick, it's impasto. My work represents an attempt to identify with the modern conventions of civilization. And if some of my work appears to be more oppressively paranoid or rhythmically tense, it's because that place is tense. It's the energy of a red, the energy of a blue, it's the rhythm of a white. What position does an artist have? Possibly just like the guy in Central Park says and throws it in their face with, "Let 'em eat cake," and I'm talking about the drapes of the gates. He's been wrapping the world, and I object to intellectual litter. Paintings can be hung on a wall privately as adornment as beauty, and that beautifies the park, but it's mundane. It's repetitious. I hate repetition. I think creativity at its best is change, but change in a sense of interwovenness, where one weaves a fine web and it becomes just for the use of the spiders. Now, what position do we have at this state of art? What relativity is my art to the world? Most of my work, all of the places have been destroyed. They have ripped down the show facades, the Pussycat Theater. Different mayors have come through with different persuasions of Catholicism, Judaica, blah, blah, blah. And they all have, Lindsay, the Puritan, they all have different persuasions of conviction because they're programmed. Just like, pardon the expression, the President of the United States. He is a pawn for corporate structure and government control. I won't go there any further, that's it. But I represent uncensorship. They cannot control the image. I can speak privately. As I tell my students, you cannot get arrested for what's on your canvas. I am not the type that puts Christ's feet in the urine. But I do bring up issues that I hope will help in a way cure the world for its own conviction of its own perversities, and they're trying to shove it off on me. I try never to teach anyone to be me, and they don't, because I don't invade. See, I teach from a special position, and it's a quote at the Art Students League, is that I believe everyone is an individual. As we grow up as children into adolescence, into adulthood, we lose the magic of the way we really see as an individual. We lose being able to see. We begin to see stop sign as word, no longer red. Even though it's set up off of red as danger, orange is caution. But what I'm trying to say is that ultimately everybody was given artistic choice. Some are more artistic than others. Some do things so facile that it means nothing later because it's surface, it's social. When I go to teach, I'm the little old il professore tremblingly kind. I'm brutal with myself out in the world. I don't take anything out here. If somebody gives me too much trouble, I deck them. It's simple as that. Simple as that. But in classroom, I try never to invade anyone's what they're trying to do. And if I feel they're going back, some people are so unconscious that they start out stylistically, angstily right, and then they begin to try to go backwards into memory or childhood, or once I lived in a certain country and I want to paint memories, and they have danger of becoming more literal. And I think literality to an extreme, except in poetry, and even in poetry, I think literality is a danger. It becomes too descriptively a picture of one thing. There is the danger of some people. Style is a limitation. I'm not a stylist. I'm an artist. There's a difference. I'm an artist, I'm a poet, I'm a composer. I represent freedom. My voice, my message, I help people find themselves or what best their talent can render via what they show me. This is what I've done. I would like to, if they have, most people don't know what they want to do because in the act of creativity, it's so poor, one does not know how it all happens. It's an evolution in time of work.
What would you like really history to record when they would say Philip Lawrence Sherrod?
They will say this: he was not a yes man. We could not control him. He was uncensorable. He was fearless. And he loved too much. So he was a fool. Any dance for the money, Loma Dollar, that piece there. And it represents my second wife, that was a flamenco dancer, beginning to lose her soul and dance for money and vanity as applause, a public performer. And I'm against performance art to some degree because it becomes corrupted. Now, up in here is Oklahoma reversed as an image. This is really a hatchet. Oklahoma, if you turn around, it's the shape of Oklahoma. And two self-portraits. Here's a piece. Let me step over here just a little bit. Here's a piece called Lorraine's Black Locket. It's a powerful piece of the askewedness of woman's psyche receiving the light. Who am I? Where are we going? From whence have we come? This concept of, and I might have misquoted because I reword everything to myself, but this idea, this is the issues that the world is dealing with now. The shuffling of politics, war, territorial rights, all of this is back to Gauguin. How do we deal with it is the real issue, okay? I went to the street, I went to the gutter, I went to woman, and you can say woman is the gutter. You see, but people can't handle that because feminism, homosexuality, all of these categorical comprehensions, which are trite and mundane and transit, will disappear, and my paintings will still be there. I paint because I can't do anything else. I write poems because I can't do anything else. I don't have interests beyond poetry, painting, and music, so it's inability to function in a normal way. I mean, why do I paint? Actually, it's because I love it.
Okay, that's all, and it's enough.
I believe this. All great artists should deal with their century, nail the century, and then transcend it. I'm a Nietzschean type. I'm Der Obermann. This interested me when I was given a show in Rome in '86 by Pepe, and he was a communist, and he was of a family long lineage of art, books, and paintings. And he said, you know, Sherrod, the reason I'm giving you a show is because you are stupid. He said, no, he said, you are stupid. He said, and I love you because that's what the modern Italian artists would like to be. They want to be the buffono. Because what serious person in the modern world could take themselves seriously or an image called art? He said, I love your art because you as an Oklahoman, an Okie, are stupid, you're pure, you're the cowboy. And he said, I always wanted to go to Hollywood and become a cowboy. When I came to New York in '59, I came out of a subway downtown about, I don't know what, Delancey, and suddenly this woman was showing me a breast, and then whenever I see, you know, what happened on the Super Bowl, the breast being shown, I thought that was ridiculous because, and covering up the justice, the House of Justice, having to put drapery over the nudes. How can we, as human beings that are intelligent, the few of us that are, how have we retrogressed into a rigid puritanical repression to where we won't admit we take off our clothes at night to get in bed or to take a shower? I find it ridiculous. You look at Titian, you look at Rembrandt, and that was 14th, 15th, 12th century. You see nudes. What is it, America? What the hell is going on? Why are you so, I won't say the F word, but I want to.
Philip, I won't even go there.
Yes, but I will.
But what I wanted to ask you, since you are talking
by anyone about anything, there's beauty to all elements in life. There's beauty to all elements in the human endeavor.